If you were born after 1996, you've been scammed. You pay more for rent than your parents paid for their entire mortgage. You went to college, took on debt, and now you're being told you can't afford a house because of your $6 almond milk latte. This video breaks down the 3 biggest economic lies Gen Z was sold, and what we can actually do to fight back. Let's start with the biggest financial scam Gen Z swallowed first. Owning a home is the smartest move you can make. Yeah, maybe back when homes cost less than a used Honda. Today, the average house comes with a $2,800 monthly payment and a 7% mortgage rent that makes avocado toast look like the least of your problems. Only 26% of Gen Z adults own a home. By the time boomers were the same age, over 50% of them already had a house, often bought on a single income, with no degree and a $30K job. So what about renting? Slightly better, but still brutal. 64% of Gen Z renters spend more than 30% of their income on rent, already considered unaffordable. And 20% spend over half of their income just to rent a place where the smoke alarm screams every time you boil water. Meanwhile, TikTok is telling them to buy a duplex, rent it on Airbnb, and house hack their way to passive income. Cool plan, except no bank gives you a loan when your checking account says $143. So no, Gen Z didn't miss the train was repossessed by the bank. If buying a house was the first lie, college was the second, just with better marketing. Go to school, get a degree, and doors will open. Turns out those doors lead straight into $25,000 of student debt and a job listing asking for 3 years of experience for an internship. Today, the average Gen Z college grad owes $20,000 to $25,000 in student loans, and some owe much more. And what does that degree get them? Only 29% of grads with student loans say they feel financially comfortable. The rest? Drowning. Meanwhile, over 50% of grads without debt say they're doing fine. So yeah, it's not the education, it is the debt. Oh, and federal loan payments restarted in 2023. So if you hear crying, that's just every Gen Z graduate logging into their loan portal. But don't worry, your high school never taught you how interest works anyway. So, you've got the degree, you're drowning in debt, time to land that starter job, right? Except companies now want 3 to 5 years of experience for entry-level jobs that pay $18 an hour. It's like being told you can't join a gym until you're already fit. Meanwhile, the average real income for Gen Z men is now 8 to 10% lower than it was for millennial men at the same age. So they pivot to gig work. Flexible, app-based jobs like Uber, DoorDash, freelance content gigs. It sounds cool until you get sick and realize nobody's covering that doctor bill. Today, 46% of Gen Z depend on gig work to make ends meet. No salary, no benefits, just tips, caffeine, and silent crying in your car between deliveries. Gen Z might be broke, but they're living in the most tempting economy ever built. Think about it, your phone is a 24/7 shopping mall. One tap and you've ordered takeout, bought shoes, subscribed to 3 apps, and maybe even booked therapy. Our parents didn't have this. No constant pop-ups, no influencer discounts, no only 2 left in stock. Their decisions were simple. Ours are designed to trigger dopamine and drain our wallets. Add to that the pressure to look like you're thriving, even if you're broke. Studies show this constant comparison online creates stress, shame, and even depression. Especially when everyone's faking it and you don't know it. Gen Z isn't careless with money, they're fighting a system built to overwhelm. And if you're tired of pretending to, maybe it's time we stop performing and start being real. But here's the catch, pretending to be okay doesn't come cheap. Faking stability has a price, and Gen Z is paying it with interest. The result? A generation not chasing wealth, but just trying to stay afloat with credit cards, side gigs, and silent stress. In 2024, total US credit card debt hit $1.17 trillion, and guess who's maxing out the fastest? Yep, young adults under 30. Over 30% of Gen Z borrowers have high balances or missed payments. Why? Because their wages don't cover rent, loans, and, food. So they hustle on TikTok, Uber, Etsy, trying to monetize every skill, hobby, or personality trait. Scroll your feed and you'll see 23-year-olds preaching financial freedom while filming from a rented Airbnb. It's a cycle. Earn less, borrow money, then look rich online, then feel worse, and repeat. All this leads to burnout, anxiety, and a quick shift. Gen Z is starting to say no to traditional goals like marriage, moving out, or even having kids. And if you're wondering why so many young people are rethinking having kids, we broke it down in a full video, links in the description. Gen Z isn't lazy, they're exhausted from playing a game that was rigged before they even showed up. You can't grind your way out of a housing crisis. You can't budget better when rent eats 60% of your paycheck. The truth is, this generation didn't break the system, they just inherited it broken. But here's the thing, Gen Z is the first to actually talk about it. Openly, loudly, and globally. They're done pretending that everything's fine, done pretending that success looks the same as it did in 1975. The sooner we stop blaming individuals and start fixing the rules, the sooner this entire system gets less stupid. Because no generation should have to choose between surviving and living. So, if you're Gen Z or you've seen the struggle up close, drop a comment. What's your biggest financial frustration right now? Want more videos that actually explain what's going on without the sugarcoating? Hit subscribe.